Good morning. Good morning. I hope you are all doing very well this kind of dreary gray morning.
But it's warm.
It's a fabulous day. It's a fabulous day. It's not snowing. The roads are clear.
Yeah.
Can't get any better than that, right? I'm Reverend C.C. Coltrane, and I'm very happy to welcome you here this morning to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Dayton. If it's your very first time, thank you for sharing your morning with us. And we would love it if you would fill out that little tear-off strip on your program cover and drop it at the Welcome Center at the end of the service so that we can send you a thank you for being with us and also put you on our weekly midweek spiritual pick-me-up, which when I have internet access goes out every week. This past week, however, I had neither cell phone nor internet access in Hocking Hills. It was great. But I couldn't send it, so almost every Wednesday. This morning, Linda Andriaco will be giving our reading and invocation, and our vigil holder is Jerry Blumgold. And Linda and Lenza Smith will offer our interfaith candle lighting, which we do to just remind us that there is wisdom in every religious and spiritual tradition in the world and through the ages. Our kids, ages 5 through 10, are with Mark Fowler this morning, and the teens and tweens are with Jen Brust. So as our youth and kids gather over there, let's just say a brief blessing for them and for us all. What I know is that God is present in these young people, in these beautiful, shining lights, that they are teaching us how to be open and creative without bounds, and that they bring to us such joy that we attempt and want to return to them. I bless everything that they do today, knowing that it is all a place of learning, a place of growth, a place of wonder, and that growth and learning and wonder just permeates out to all of us. Thank you, God. I give great thanks for these young people and for their teachers. And I simply say, and so it is.
So it is.
Have a wonderful time, everybody.
Happy fun. We love you.
Don't give Mark too much trouble. This is a wonderful song. Who wrote this? Was it Ricky?
Yeah.
Ricky Byers Beckwith, called I'm Ready to Listen.
We light the first candle in honor of Native American religious traditions. O great Creator, I come before you in a humble manner and offer you this sacred pipe. With tears in my eyes and an ancient song from my heart, I pray. I pray for my relations in nature, all those who walk, crawl, fly, and swim, seen and unseen, to the good spirits that exist in every part of creation. We light the second candle in honor of Buddhism, a mind unruffled by the vagaries of fortune, from sorrow freed, from defilement cleansed, from fear liberated. This is the greatest blessing. We light the third candle in honor of the Sufi tradition. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. We light the fourth candle in honor of Christianity. We are the children of light and love, the children of God. As such, we must have His qualities and His attributes of love, peace, and kindness towards all. We light the fifth candle in honor of Hinduism. Try not to change the world. You will fail. Try to love the world. Lo, the world is changed forever. We light the sixth candle in honor of Judaism. God is the mystery to which our lives are the answer. We light the final candle in honor of Taoism. Kindness in words create confidence. Kindness in thinking create profoundness. Kindness in giving creates love. The reading for this week comes from Ernest Holmes' Living the Science of Mind. While we admire the intellect, We must realize that the intellect is not the creative force in the universe. Rather, it is feeling that is creative. The real creative power of the mind is deeper than the intellect. It passes into the realm of feeling and acceptance, yet it is the intellect or the self-conscious faculties that must speak the word in order that every obstruction may be cleared away. We could coin no better expression than to say that God speaks to the heart through a language of feeling, a feeling which is affirmative. Let's take these words into the silence for a few moments. God is love, light, and life itself. God is in, through, and among each and every creature, every person, everything living on this planet and planets that we don't even know that exist. God is everything. We are part of this awesome wholeness, this awesome love, this awesome intellect. And I am thankful for this. I am thankful for everything that transpires in my life and everybody's life here, in every life, and knowing that love and caring is what keeps us together. And I say thankful for everything here, for Reverend Cece, for the band, for everybody in attendance here today, and everybody that hears this message through whatever means they do, for the children and all the teachers and everyone. And I say thank you, God, and so it is.
So our theme for April is where humanity and divinity meet. And so today I want to talk about that meeting place. Where do these things meet up? They meet, of course, in the human heart. And, there have been lots of symbolisms of this. The cross is one, the horizontal being the human and limited, and the vertical being the cosmic and eternal, and where the two intersect is the heart. And you can also think of it as the heart and the brain, the two poles of our existence, the mind and the heart, also meet here, because the brain is an information processing machine, and it receives input and categorizes it and sorts it and files it away ultimately after, responds to it and then files it away. The heart, on the other hand, is the source of the feeling response to everything received by the brain. The brain and the heart interact and communicate in 4 different ways. I really hadn't thought about this, but I discovered this yesterday in writing and went, yeah, that's exactly what happens. First of all, there's the nervous system. You have electrical communication between the heart, the nervous system of the heart, and through the central nervous system to the brain. Through biochemical interactions mediated by hormones. We know about that, that there are these things that happen in our brains with serotonin and dopamine and all those things that make us feel good, oxytocin, things like that. There's also pulse waves that are biophysical processes that cause communication between the heart and the mind. And then they also communicate through their electromagnetic fields. The brain has one and the heart has one. The interesting thing is that the heart's electromagnetic field has 60 times the amplitude of that of the brain. Its energy is that much higher. And the heart's field can also be detected anywhere on the surface of the body. It is 100 times stronger than the electromagnetic field of the brain. You can actually detect somebody's heart field 3 feet away from them. The brain you can only detect very close to the head. It's interesting that some societies without the necessary measuring tools knew this somehow. The ancient Egyptians used to actually take the brain out through the nasal passages and throw it away. When someone died, they would just take it out and throw it away. But the heart, not the heart, the heart was left in the body and mummified with the rest of the body, because the heart was seen as the seat of feeling and intelligence. And we would need it in the afterlife. So it had to be kept, right? The heart matters more than the brain, I think, sometimes. We need both, but I think our emphasis in the West on the brain has been a little bit misguided. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, today reminds us of the importance of the heart when he says God speaks through the heart, to the heart, through a language of feeling. A feeling which is affirmative. So, because we're here to be the embodiments of that divine, we better figure out how to hear the voice that speaks to our hearts, because that's what we're supposed to be responding to, right? The divine speaks to the heart through the language of feeling. But I want to talk about feeling a little bit too, because I think we also have sort of a bit warped sense of what feeling is. We think of feeling as passion or desire or these burning kinds of, things that move us, but those are actually emotions. And things like passion imply an object to which we are sort of attached. We have a passion to do something or to get something or to be somewhere or there's an object to our engagement. The language that God speaks to us in is the language of pure feeling without attachment. It's just feeling. My teacher, Reverend Donald Graves, said every week in every class he taught one thing, over and over and over. A thought plus a feeling equals a manifestation. Think about how true that is. It is so true. When we think about a situation, ourselves, another person, we have thoughts about it, and then we have a feeling response to it, and those two together create an experience. If you have somebody who drives you crazy or you're frightened by a situation, it's because you think the situation is dangerous, and you have a feeling impulse that corresponds, then those two together result in an experience called fearfulness. If you find a situation delightful, it's because you perceive beauty in it, or joy, or something really good, and you have a feeling response to that, and the feeling plus the thought equals the experience of delightful, right? It's really true. So we here at Centers for Spiritual Living say change your thinking, change your life. And we know how to choose to change the way we think. Sometimes we're a little sketchy about the second part, about how we feel, right? The thought plus the feeling equals a manifestation. We may think something and we don't feel the same way, and therefore what doesn't happen is, what we want doesn't happen. You have to have both of those things. The thought and the feeling equals the manifestation. We do have a choice about what we think and about what we feel. However, we just have to develop a little mastery over our own feeling states. For example, if you dislike somebody, if they work your last nerve whenever you see them, then you start thinking about them, and you start to think about what a pain they are and how much you don't like to be around them. And you just keep feeding the feeling and the thoughts and the feelings and the thoughts and the feelings and the thoughts until you have a really disgusting experience of the person, right? What would happen instead if every time you thought about the feeling, you started to say, I wonder what motivates that person. I wonder what thing in their life happened to them that made them act that way. And eventually, over time, what happens, instead of yuck, you start to feel compassion. There's a great saying posted in the adult classroom, when the going gets tough, turn to wonder. And that means when the going gets tough, you say, I wonder what's making this person act that way. I wonder what's making me respond the way I'm. That's the wonder he's talking about. Those come from Parker Palmer. I wonder what underlies all this. Instead of judgment, you turn to wonder. And wonder is one of the places where our feelings can open up and shift and change. If we start to do this after a while, pretty soon, instead of feeling animosity, we'll feel compassion. And instead of dislike, we'll actually begin to feel a little tenderness. We will no longer be experiencing that person as unlikable. We might not want to like sign on for a round the world tour with them, but we will be able to see a difference in our feeling response to them, depending on what we think and how we choose our feelings. It doesn't happen overnight, and it takes practice. But I think this kind of practice is the way we open our hearts to the voice of God that is speaking to us. I think it's the pathway to becoming all that we're here to become. You know, in the Beatitudes, Jesus said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. He didn't tell us we'd find God because of our minds. He said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. We've been pretty caught up in the brain and in its output here in the West, in the ideas and the creations and the ideas that lead to the work of our hands, and we haven't paid a lot of attention to the work of the heart. We've made enormous progress, and we've also made some pretty big blunders because we haven't paid attention to that work. I think it's time maybe to reconnect with the work of the heart. It's time to stop and listen. It's time to train ourselves to hear the divine speaking to us in the heart. And that lets us use all our faculties. Inside, outside, the five outer senses and all the inner senses like intuition and stillness and will and creativity and all those other things we've been given. We get to use all of our faculties when we have listened to both the head and the heart, where we respect the work of the heart as much as we respect the work of the head. You can look at any of the spiritual traditions around the world and you will find similar things. But if we look at the big three in the West, the Abrahamic religions, which are Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, we're told over and over and over again that the heart is first and foremost an organ of spiritual perception. The physical heart we're talking about, this thing that beats in our chest, is an organ of spiritual perception. Its primary function is to teach us to look underneath what we see on the surface. Its primary function is to tell us to go under, below, behind the constant barrage of thoughts into a deeper reality that's already there. There's a Sufi sheikh who lives here in this country. His name's Kabir Helminski, and he wrote this. He said, the heart is the antenna that receives the emanations of subtler levels of existence. The human heart's proper field of function is beyond the limits of the superficial, reactive ego self. It's beyond that. Awakening to the heart to create the spiritualized mind is an unlimited process of making the mind more sensitive, focused, energized, subtle, and refined, of joining it to its cosmic milieu, the infinity of love. So I already mentioned the Beatitude, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And then there's Ezekiel, the great Hebrew prophet. He is speaking aloud the revelation he has received, and he says, God said to me, a new heart I will give you, and a new spirit I will put within you. I will remove from your body your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. You shall be my people, and I shall be your God. It's a powerful statement, really powerful statement. And the ancient desert Christians, the desert fathers and mothers, they were monks and nuns who lived alone in the desert or in small groups in the desert and lived for God, and they instructed their students over and over and over to put the mind in the heart. Stand before God with the mind in the heart. So the heart that these people are speaking of is not this thing of passion and strong emotion and anger and love and lust and all those things. It is a place that's large enough to encompass whatever comes along. It's large enough to encompass whatever comes along. It is the place where we have feelings and realize that feelings come and feelings go and feelings come and feelings go, and that's okay. That's okay. The physical organ itself is kind of unusual because it has 3 different functions. It is a physical thing. It pumps our blood, right? And it sends out various electrical stimuli and other stimuli which notify the brain of our general state of health. It is a psychic organ as well because it affects our minds so greatly, and it is the place where intuition happens and where we know things that we don't know how we know. It is also a spiritual organ. It has a spirituality all its own. Everything that it does is already of a spiritual nature. Which is why you find things like in the Quran that God is closer than the beating of your heart, or closer than your neck vein, which is the place you can feel that beat of the heart most strongly. It is a spiritual, everything that the heart does is spiritual. The Sufis, again, I love the Sufis. The Sufis say, take the opportunity to touch the place of your deepest being, which has limitless capacity to embrace whatever comes into its orbit. The Sufis say that the heart is without limits. There are no limits on what it can contain, what it can know, what it can do. And that's one of the reasons that you may have experienced this at some time. There is a Sufi ceremony called zikr where you chant the names of God and you move while you chant. But you chant the names of God and they have thousands of names for God because God is limitless and they're trying to identify quality after quality after quality. The heart, they say, is the dwelling place of Al-Awasi, the all-embracing, the quality of God that holds us in the light of the One and that asks us to hold everyone else in the light of the One. The all-embracing. The heart is also the home of Al-Wadud, the loving, the One, Spirit itself that has an unlimited supply of love. Reveals itself as a mutual affinity between all forms of life. One of the reasons I took off last week is because I hadn't had enough affinity with trees. Trees are life force which heal me just to be around them. It's very healing for me. And it's healing to find out that trees communicate with each other and give nutrients to each other. You know, the strong trees will send nutrients through the roots to the trees that need it. And when a tree is about to die, it spends itself through the roots to other trees. It gives all of its good stuff away before it turns into dead wood. We have this affinity between all living things, us included. Al-Wadud, the loving. See, realizing the capacity of our hearts, I think is what Jesus meant when he said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Our task is to enlarge and to purify our connection with the heart by realizing what's there in the first place. We don't have to create it, it's already there. One of the readings says, you know, your task is not to look for love, your task is to get rid of the things that block you from love. And as we remove those blockages, we find what's there. We find this all-embracing, infinite source of love. What our hearts consist of is infinite space. There is space there to welcome ourselves, first and foremost, with all our neuroses, all our foibles, all our not enoughness, all our worry, all our whatever it is, without any judgment or any condition. If we move ourselves into our own hearts, there can be only acceptance. And there's space also in there to allow everyone else and anything else to be just as it is and still fall within that limitless love that's right there. It's right there. We just have to learn how to tune into it. We can't do that just in our minds. We can't. We need that connection and communication and interaction between the mind and the heart. Because the heart is a sacred and holy place, and only there can we find that giant space and that limitless love. So what we need to do is practice, I think, becoming aware of our hearts and their spaciousness and the limitlessness of love that lies there. We have to put the mind into the heart. And so what I want to do today for the rest of our time is to offer you the most powerful heart meditation I know. It's a practice to take home and use. And I want to explain briefly before we do this meditation. We're first going to practice moving our awareness from head into the heart, and then we're going to check to see if we've succeeded. And if you find you haven't, that's okay. Just go back and move your energy and your awareness again back down into the heart. It's a wonderful practice for dealing with the difficulties that life brings our way, and with practice you'll get really good at it. You'll be able to move your attention into your heart with ease. With practice. It's not something to do once, it's something to do over and over and over again. Now, while things are okay, so that when you run into a difficulty, you can just move your focus, take the difficulty with you and see what happens. So just sit comfortably with your hands on your lap, and you can close your eyes or not, whatever makes you most comfortable. Take in a deep breath, and as you let it out, just let yourself relax. Drop your shoulders, relax your neck. Take another deep breath in, and as you let it out, relax even more. Let gravity do all the work. One more deep breath in. And as you let it out, even relax those little muscles around your eyes and mouth. Let it all just sit there in the chair without work. And then just breathe normally. And become aware. Notice where your attention and awareness is. Likely it's in your head, on your thoughts. If there's a sore place in your body, it might be there. Take another deep breath in and let your attention move from wherever it is into the center of your body and down into your heart. This is moving attention, it's not thinking, it's just letting it slide down into your heart. And keeping your attention right there in your physical heart, take another couple of deep breaths. And just feel it. Imagine you are seated inside your own heart. It's full of light, but the light is not so bright that it hurts your eyes. It's just bright and beautiful. And now face one wall of your heart and just push on it with your hands. Push it out. Push it out as far as feels comfortable to you. Then go to the next wall. Push it out. Likewise, as comfortable, as far as it's comfortable for you. And then go to the third wall and push that out as well. And then the fourth wall, push it out, create a bigger space here. And then push up on the ceiling and down on the floor. And once again, seat yourself in this now much larger heart. And just notice the feeling of the light. And the spaciousness. Feeling the depth of the silence. And the peace of this heart space. And now think for a moment of a conflict you're having or have recently had. Create a mental image of the scene and the action of the conflict. What was happening? What emotions did you have during the conflict, or are you having as you think about it? And now once again, just move your attention from the center of your head down through the center of your body, back into that space of heart. And there you are again, seated in this immense, spacious heart. It's full of beautiful light. And the conflict perhaps has utterly disappeared. The conflicted feelings are gone. There is only space and light. You may notice you have feelings, but they don't have any object. They don't stick to anything. What are you feeling? Might be expansion or joy. Might be sadness. It might be love. It might even be confusion. Feelings come and then they go. And they come and they go. Seated here in the heart. What do you feel? Just notice and just sustain your attention to the inside of your heart. And here in this heart space, just know that as you practice this simple shift of attention, putting your mind into your heart, You will get better and better and better at it. You will be able to move your attention from your head to your heart in just a second. You can move into the heart with any question that you have, finding the deep and bright silence there. And in that deep and bright silence, you will hear or perceive somehow the voice of the God of your own being, speaking to you with guidance, answers, peace. In that deep and bright silence of the heart, you will find intimacy with the God of your being. And so now just feel your heart naturally returning to its previous size. Begin to feel the chair underneath you. Your feet on the floor. And as you begin to return your awareness to this room and this moment, let us pray together. What I know in this innermost chamber of my heart is that there is only one. There is one source of all life and all creation, and it is beautiful beyond measure. It is joy and light and peace and ease and grace. It is love and wisdom and tenderness and compassion and abundance. It is peace and it is plenty. And it is big enough to accommodate the opposite of any of those ideas. So that even if I am feeling sad, God is still present. Even if I am fearful, God is still present. Even if I am feeling lack, God is still present. And what I know is when I remember that, I am able to move through whatever is happening with a deep sense of love. Love for life, the love of God that pours through me and into me and out of me, as long as I pay attention to it. What I know in that still, sacred place is that I am one with all that exists. That I am one with every person, and every person is one with me. That I am an essential part of this thing called universe, and so is everyone else. Together, all creation makes up the life of God, the body of God, the beingness of Spirit. And as is this true of myself, I know it's true of everyone else. We together are it. We individualized are it. We are the place it shows up. We are its hands and heart and voice and being right here and right now. And so we are the sources of that limitless love. The loving one. We are the place that love pours out in all that we do and all that we say and all that we are. And so we just take it out with us into our lives and we let it loose in a way we've never done before. Because there is no limit to the amount of love we can give. There is no limit to the amount of understanding we can find. There is no limit to the depth and breadth of our compassion. And so knowing this is just the truth of who we are, that when we bring the head to the heart, this is what we discover. A peace and a light and an expansiveness that is just who we are. That is what is already in our hearts. And so we move forward into life, remembering that, practicing it, identifying with it. And the world, lo, the world is changed. And so with deep gratitude, simply release this prayer, knowing it's already done. My experience has changed. My thoughts have changed. My feelings have changed. Our feelings and thoughts have changed. And our experience, therefore, changes too. I say thank you, God. And we say together, and so it is.
I'm just a thread, a simple thread in this glorious web of life.
We are all just drops within a stream, flowing towards an ocean of light. We may forget where we come from. We may forget where we're going to. I might not see that you're a reflection of me as much as I'm a reflection of you. I am just a seed, a blessed seed with eternity unfolding in me. And I pray that as I grow, I will reveal the love that illuminates my soul. When I remember where I come from, when I remember where I'm going to, then I will see that you're a reflection of me as much as I'm a reflection of you. My simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite one.
Amen. We now have an opportunity to give toward the work of this community, because what we're all about is that transformative purifying our hearts and joining them with our minds so that we can make a difference in our world, in everything that we do. That's what we're really all about here. And so I'm grateful and I thank you for your support. And let's affirm, I know the activity of abundance in my life.
I know the activity of abundance in my life.
And in this center,
And in this center,
I give and receive generously
I give and receive generously
from this everlasting flow of good.
from this everlasting flow of good.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So today is the last day to turn in your events for our Cooking with God fundraiser. Just create an event that involves fun and involves food. It can be anything from chocolate to 4-course dinners to whatever you want. Choose how many people you want, set a date and a time, and we'll take it from there. You provide the event. People actually pay money to the center to go there, so the center makes some needed funds, and everybody has a really good time. Really good. They're always really fun events. There should be some pamphlets, the Cooking with God event guides at the Welcome Center and on the table and by the door if you need a form. Turn those in today. I left mine on Claire's desk, so we hope you will come up with something great event to host, and we hope you will go to as many of the events as you possibly can, because they're always really good. If you don't have a name tag and want one, please sign up at the Welcome Center or over on the table by the name tags, and we'll make sure that you get one. They're very helpful to all of us who, don't remember names like right off the bat, so, which is all of us, I think, or most of us. So Gary Victor, come tell us about this event you've got coming up.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'm not in conformance because I don't have my tag.
Oh,
All right, I go to the principal's office. Where is that?
We know
All right, okay. So we are going to celebrate an important milestone. I believe it's the 48th, if my math is correct, 48th anniversary of Earth Day. That was first initiated in 1970. So, audience participation, who is our president and vice president? Nixon, and who is our vice president?
Spiro.
Spiro Agnew. Spiro Theodore Ted Agnew. So we have an opportunity to kind of celebrate the Earth and the planet. We're assembling a team. So Five Rivers Metro Parks is orchestrating a big community-wide effort. We will be one of several teams, probably hundreds, maybe thousands across the country. We're going to be deployed at Cox Arboretum Metro Park next Saturday, which is April 21st. You are all invited. We have about a team of about 20. I'm hoping to get maybe 50 or more. So all ages are welcome. It's a couple hours. It starts at 9 o'clock next Saturday and it goes till 11. You get a t-shirt, a free lunch if you're interested in that, which is downtown Riverscape, and the camaraderie of working with your fellow church members. So see myself and Carol Huseman. Carol, where are you at? Carol, right? Carol's a co-captain. So see us if you guys are interested, and there is a sign up on the bulletin board. And thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Cox Arboretum, planting trees, pulling weeds, doing things like that. It's the last one I was at was at the Bog down over in what's that neighborhood called?
Cedarville?
No, just right here in town.
Oh, the one over by, up north
Yeah,
on Woodman?
the Bog here in town. It was fun. It was really interesting to be able to walk along that peat moss and the water's squishing and the ground's moving, but you're okay. It was really fun. I had no idea there was a peat bog in the middle of Dayton, but there is.
Actually, it's Woodman Finn.
Woodman Fen, yeah, that's right. So there are a couple of other events to talk about in your bulletin, just a couple of things. Next Sunday we'll have a potluck and celebration of Earth Day. There's a flyer in your bulletin about that. There's also a brand new self-mastery class. We have taught self-mastery before, but this is one that's been revised by, stop that, Kenny. This has been revised by my colleague Edward Villune from the Santa Rosa Church. all new material, they're using new textbooks. Becky is facilitating, which means the class will be off the charts wonderful. So sign up, there's a sign up sheet over on the bulletin board. It starts tomorrow night and it's going to be great. There are payment plans available, all of that, don't miss it. Finally, we are inviting you to take ownership here of your spiritual community by participating on the Leadership Council, the youth program, or the Sunday service team. There's a flyer in your bulletin that sort of says, here's what we're looking for. So I invite you to consider making even more of a difference here at Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Dayton, by taking one of those ownership opportunities and coming to play with us. We would really love to have you. And you will get more than you give, I promise. It's just the way it works. You know, you sign up for something and it gives you so much more than you ever expect. And, you know, our leadership council is the equivalent of a board, but it's the most fun meeting I have all month. Mainly because our chair is a wonderful, fabulous, beautiful, funny lady, Angie Smith. And it's really a good time. I mean, we do important work, but we have a good time doing it. So. And of course, the kids are just amazing to work with. And the Sunday service team, we're simply trying to make sure that we're taking the best care of everybody here that we can. And so join that team. All right, if there's anything you'd like prayer for at the end of the service, the practitioners are happy to pray with you. Anyone wearing the teal or white stoles, just walk up and ask them, and they will be happy to offer you what we call a 1-minute miracle. It's a gift to you on Sunday. You can also put a written prayer request in the chest by the door if you can't hang around. But you might want to take advantage of just a couple minutes of prayer. It's a wonderful thing. So, take an opportunity now, as soon as we finish up here, to meet the people around you with a handshake or a hug. Give them your name, ask them what their name is, and meet somebody you don't know. You are an unlimited source of love. Don't forget that.
And there's soup.
Oh, there is soup in the social hall, and brownies. Soup and brownies. Oh my God! I'll race you there. I'll race you. Thanks to everybody who made today possible. The ushers and greeters, the practitioners, the youth, the people in the youth church, the welcome team. These amazing musicians, as always. Y'all just rock. I love you. And all of you too. So stand up, let's do our closing affirmation, our closing song, which is, we had to change the lyrics. We're going to call it Find a Little Love in Your Heart, because it's already there, but we'll sing Put a Little Love in Your Heart. Today I recognize the light and love in my heart.
Today I recognize the light and love in my heart.
I listen to what my heart tells me.
I listen to what my heart tells me.
And I let my love out into the world.
And I let my love out into the world.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Have a fabulous week.